But Josh, what you got?
Yeah, Trey, you've seen a lot of amazing sports moments. Like obviously when Connie's Patriots came back from 28-3 and all that. What's your favorite sports moment that you've been able to witness?
Well, the honest answer to that was one I wasn't able to witness, which was the Lake Placid Olympics in 1980. Growing up as a kid in the Cold War, watching the U.S. kids beat the Soviet hockey team. By the way, that people don't understand, like that game wasn't played live on television. It was played in the afternoon, tape delayed in the afternoon, and then rebroadcast. That was way up there. The Tiger chip in 2005 at the Masters would be way up there. The Patriots win when they're down 28-3. Jesus, if the Falcons just run the ball on 3rd and 1, like what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm so thankful for you.
What are you doing? Being able to watch Mahomes work that magic in Super Bowl 54, and I still believe he's going to go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm sorry. I understand that records and wins will always be with Brady. It's never going to happen. There are different things that matter to me. Like the Bucs wide receivers were mic'd up for Super Bowl 55. And if you want to find that clip and listen to them watching Mahomes, it's incredible. Like Mahomes, Mahomes is a unicorn, okay? He's a Yeti wrapped inside the Loch Ness Monster in the skin of Bigfoot. Like that's what Mahomes is. And you need to understand that. Like those moments for me. But I got to be honest with you, if you're asking me my 2 favorite moments in sports, give me a moment. My dad was a huge Cowboys fan, and I was a huge Cowboys fan. I took my dad to all 3 Super Bowls in the 90s when the Cowboys won. Super Bowls 28, 29, and 30. We were there together for all of those. And after Super Bowl 28, when they won back-to-back and they beat the Bills 30-13 in Atlanta, my dad, just so people know, was a journalist. He was Life magazine, Managing Editor of People magazine. He covered JFK's assassination. He was the bureau chief for the Vietnam War for Life magazine for 3 years. He covered Watergate. He covered the civil rights killings in Philadelphia, Mississippi in the 60s. He covered the first Super Bowl. My dad covered heavy shit, you know. I took him to those Super Bowls. And in the bowels of the old Georgia Dome, after the game, we were down there and listening to the Cowboys players' press conferences, and Michael Irvin was going off. And my dad yelled out, "You tell him, Michael, you tell him." And I was like, "Dad, you can't say that. You can't do that. I'm working here. You can't be a part of that." To see him that happy was incredible. And my son became a huge Peyton Manning fan because the first Pro Bowl I ever took him to, he got a picture with Peyton. Tony Dungy couldn't have been nicer. So he rode the highs and lows of Peyton Manning's career. And I took him to Super Bowl 48 in New York. I was a freshman in college when he was a college football player. And they got destroyed 43-8. It was a disaster. I thought it was going to be the greatest moment of our lives, and it was the worst. And then 2 years later, when Peyton couldn't play dead in a Western, they make it to Super Bowl 50 against your Panthers. I apologize. And they find a way to win. And there's a picture of me and my son hugging after the game. That will always be my greatest sports moment, and nothing will ever touch it. It was great. And I'm sorry for being an idiot.
No, it's moments that you look at and you remember, for the rest of your life. I look back at things, even with my brothers, going to their games, being a little idiot, rooting them on. I remember my brother Michael, my middle brother, or technically the middle brother, won the first ever championship. I guess you could say Mahal's championship for my school. And he made an over the shoulder catch. And I remember thinking that, he was the greatest player to ever live. And it's something that unless he's watching right now, he probably doesn't even know. But it's things like that you're always gonna remember for the rest of your life. It's moments like this that I know me and Josh are gonna remember for the rest of our lives. When we got to talk to Don as well, it's not always that big cool moment, like you said, Patriots coming back 28-3, that's cool for me. But to have a moment like that, if I ever made it, and to bring people along with me, that's the things that really matter in life, because everything else is kind of just is temporary.
Yeah, it was great. Like that, and his senior year, they went undefeated, won the championship, and it was pretty good. But after the heartbreak of Super Bowl 48, which was a disaster from the first snap when it went over their head, Jesus, I was like, I'm the worst parent ever. 2 years later to see that, nothing will ever top that. Nothing.